What's up, everyone? So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw that I just picked up this Southbend 13 lathe. I've really wanted a lathe for a while and finally found one fairly local for a pretty good price. The problem now is unloading it. If you're seeing this video, that means I either didn't crush myself or my girlfriend uploaded the footage. I figured it would be best to get it as close to the back of my trailer as possible, so I used a come-along to pull it. It slid pretty easy on the wood deck. I don't have much of a concrete pad in front of my garage. It's all pretty soft dirt. My trailer just barely fit through my garage door, so I backed it in as far as I could. My plan was to use an engine hoist, and that's where I ran into my first issue. It was an easy fix, though. I just jacked it up a couple inches and used some jack stands to hold it up. I made sure to jump around like a madman to make sure it wasn't going anywhere. I pulled the tailstock off to remove some weight towards the back. This probably really didn't help me much, as you'll see in a minute. I didn't want to extend the boom on my cherry picker too much, because this lathe is probably pretty close to its max capacity. So I just started by lifting the tail section and walking it as close to the end of my trailer as I could get it. This took a lot of repositioning. When I was able to get close to the middle of the machine, I changed over to a heavier duty strap. I wrapped it around the two ribs in the middle of the bed. I tried to keep them as close to the machine as possible, but I still ended up maxing out the lift of my hoist. I really should have repositioned my straps earlier. I ran into another snag here because I wasn't lifting from the center of gravity. Obviously, there's a lot more weight in the headstock with the motor, pulley, gears, and everything. At this point, it was balancing on the two front legs and this little piece that hangs off the back of my trailer for the ramps. Not the safest looking situation, but it was actually pretty stable. I jacked up the hoist for a little extra peace of mind and headed to the garage to make something. I quickly threw this together. It's just a few pieces of wood that will go under the bed and act as a guide for the straps. These pieces on the front will keep the straps off the lead screw. That's really important. Here's a better shot. I used some clamps just to hold it in place while I put the straps on. It was much easier to lift from this position, but I still needed a little more support at the tail. I probably should have made two of these guides, but instead I just used the rib between the rails again. My shop is a little tight. I have way too much stuff. The thing I keep slamming into is a 32 Ford frame, in case anyone's wondering. Look for some videos on that project in the future. After fooling around for a while, I ended up pulling the trailer out and getting a couple of the toolboxes out of the way. Finally, I got it on the ground. I literally let out a sigh of relief here. I repositioned the hoist a few times and got it moved into its final resting place. I just made sure there was enough room around the side of the machine so I could get to the gearbox. If I end up having to run something longer through the tailstock, I'll either pull the machine out a bit or drill a hole in the wall. It was quite a process to unload, but I'd say it was successful. I managed not to hurt myself or the machine. It probably would have been easier to rent a forklift, but I'm cheap and like using what I've got. I'm really excited to have this. It's going to open up a whole new world of possibilities for me. To start, I have some tools I plan on making. I bought a 12-volt Milwaukee palm nailer that I want to convert into a planishing hammer, and I need to make a new collar for that. But before I do anything, I have to get this thing hooked up to power. It's 3-phase, so I'm planning on putting a VFD on it. I'm in the process of educating myself on that now. If you have any good resources or can recommend a VFD, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and stay safe. I'll see you guys over on one of these other videos.